Welcome. Today I will be creating a course based on a link that will be in the description that is actually hosted on a website as blog yogihosting.com. So this is the first lecture, creating your first application in ASP.NET Core MVC using ASP.NET 5. So I have translated the entire blog articles from ASP.NET Core 3.1 to ASP.NET 5. So we shall cover the following skills: creating an application using MVC template, add a controller, action method returning string, and action method returning view, and adding dynamic data to the view, adding model and transferring its data to the view. And first of all, we'll start with creating the new project in Visual Studio 2019. So accordingly, we'll switch over to Visual Studio 2019 now. So I will put the link from where you can download the code for this project, and please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and put your valuable comments, and I will endeavor to answer them at the earliest possible. So I have now opened the Visual Studio 2019 and I will click on create a new project and create a new project, recent project template. So I will click on the highlighted, which is ASP.NET Core Web Application, and then click on next, and then give my project name as first app as I have shown in the slideshow. So this is first app because this is my first app for this playlist, first app, and I have put it on a location. You could change the location as per what suits you, and then click on create. And this is highlighted on ASP.NET 3.1, and I will change the selection from ASP.NET Core 3.1 to ASP.NET Core 5.0, a .NET Core platform under which this is ASP.NET Core 5.0, which is the latest ASP.NET Core platform, which is cross-platform open source, and we are going to select model view controller and configure for HTTPS authentication, no change, no authentication, and then click on create to create the project, and the project will be created for you in a while. Now once this project is created and in front of me, you can see this is a solution explorer. So solution is the first app, and this is the first app, and I want to run the project to show you what it shows on the browser. So click on debug and then start debugging from the debug menu. So Windows, uh, exception setting, other debug target are better. I will just right click, debug, start new instance. So this was changed from ASP.NET Core 3.1 to now ASP.NET Core 5. So I'll click on new instance, start new instance. So it will start a new instance and build started. You can see project first step, configuration debug any CPU. And we'll come back after the project is built and run. So you have this welcome screen. This is the first tab, home and privacy tabs. Okay, this is the home tab. This is the home tab by default, and this is the privacy tab. And now I will stop the application. Now I have chosen MVC template here, so the necessary MVC folders and files are automatically created by the Visual Studio. And this Solution Explorer is in front of you, which is on the right side of the Visual Studio. And here we can see all the files, and you can If on the second dialog box we have chosen the empty template, then you have to create all these MVC files and folders one by one from the file menu. Okay, now let's understand about these files and folders in our application. So this is the www root folder. So it contains all the static files like images, scripts. So this is the static files. This is site.css, CSS, and the JavaScript site.js and the jQuery and all these static files. You could have some images also. Okay, and it can also have the bootstrap jQuery. Okay, so this has automatically got the bootstrap CSS, bootstrap.css, and we have got this controllers folder which has got the home controller by default, and we've got this models folder. It has got at the moment by default error view model, and we have got this views folder, views home, and it has got index view and privacy.cshtml, privacy views. Okay, so this folder contains the view file, and then you have got app settings.json. So where this is a launch settings.json, and this is app settings.json file. Okay, so this file contains the configuration settings of the application. These are the configuration settings of the application. You can use it to store database connection string, application variable values, and other information. And then there is program files, or this is our application's entry point, which starts when you run your application. Here you create your application host, okay, and choose the web server and call the startup file, startup class. So you are calling the startup class in the your program class, from the program class app web builder.use startup, and call the startup class. Okay, and startup class, in the startup class, this is your startup class. So this file is called from the program file, as you have just seen. Here you add services and configure the HTTP pipeline. So you can add, by default it has got add controller with views. This method gets called by the runtime. Okay, so you can use this method to add services to the container, and you can build your application or HTTP middleware HTTP request pipeline, which is also known as the middleware pipeline, in this configure method. Okay, so these are just a brief description of the MVC files in a folder. You will get complete understanding on these files as you carry on with these tutorials. Now let's close all of these opened tabs. So I will just close all tabs. Now we'll shift our focus to adding a controller as per the outcomes that we have come across. So far we have covered how to create the application, and now we'll have to add a controller. Okay, so let's add the controller. Now, a controller is a C# class. I have opened this home controller, which was created by default when the project was created. And it's a C# class which handles all the incoming HTTP requests. A controller can have one or more action methods. Each action method can be, so these are the action methods: index, privacy, and error action methods. And each action methods can be invoked from the web by some URLs. For example, if a controller named home has an action method called calculate, then this action method can be invoked by opening the URL /home/calculate on the browser. By default, the Visual Studio adds the home controller, just we have seen. And if you wish to add a new controller, so you have to right click the controllers folder and then select add controllers. Okay, so let's add a controller accordingly. So by right click, add controller, and MVC controller empty. Okay, so click on add. Now this one we'll call this as first controller. So first controller class, I think now the spelling is all right. Okay, so now this by default, it has got an index view which returns an iAction result, and it returns a index action method which returns a view. Now I will add an action method that returns a string. So the controller has one action method, that is the index. So I am going to change this to return a string. So let's change this iAction result type to string type. Let the index action method return a string type. And so accordingly, rather than returning a view, it is expecting to return a string. So let's say hello world. Okay, and I will just Control Shift B to build it. The application, that is the shortcut key, Control plus Shift plus B to build the application. Build succeeded, 0, 1 failed. So unable to remove directory. Okay, so it is unable to remove the bin directory. So what I will do, I will remove it. So because of this error, unable to remove directory object debug bin.NET 5.0 Razor, this process cannot access the file. It seems that it is being used by another process. So what we'll do is we'll go to the physical directory by right clicking the first app and open folder in File Explorer. This is the folder path for this first app. What I'm going to do is I can just right click and delete this folder. So I will just delete this. Okay, let's say, okay, now delete everywhere, right? Because I am storing it in Dropbox, so it is trying to ask like that. Okay, click on IIS Express to run this application. Now I have changed the URL from the localhost :port to port/first/index, and I get this hello world. It's written in very small print, but it is visible. Okay, it's hello world is written. So that's first objective is served. We have already shown how to create the uh, controller, a new controller, and how to change the action method, index action method, to return a string. Now the action method which I just made returns a string. Therefore, there is no need to create a view, as it shows a written string on the browser. In general, most of the time, you will need actions that return a view. So for these actions, the return time should be iAction result rather than a string. Okay, so in the first controller, now I'll change it from index that returns hello world to an iAction result hello. So I can, now let's write like that. So I create another action method that is hello, and it returns a iAction result return view. Now if I try to run this application at this point, let's see what happens. So now when the browser comes up and I browse to localhost :port/first/hello, it shows an unhandled exception occurred while processing the request, invalid operation exception, the view hello was not found. The following locations are searched: views first hello.cshtml, views shared hello.cshtml. Okay, so it looks for these views hello.cshtml within the first folder or within the shared folder, but it doesn't find any of these. This is a helpful method explaining the error occurred due to absence of a view file in the application. Views are stored in the views folder and organized into subfolders. So views associated with the first controller are stored in the views first folder. Views not specified to a single controller are stored in the folders called views slash front slash shared. So you can get rid of this error by creating hello view in either views first or views shared folder. But there is a catch. If you put hello view inside the views slash shared folder and another controller, suppose another, which also has an action method by the same name, say hello, and it too doesn't has its specific view, then whenever the hello action of any controller, say first or another, is invoked, then views share hello will be called. In short, both the URL will invoke the views shared hello, provided there aren't any specific views. So first slash hello or another slash hello will be called. So uh, here there will be confusion. So I will create specific view for the hello controller. Okay. So I will close this application again and right click on the hello and click on add view. Okay. So here in ASP.NET Core 5.0, it comes up with this dialog, add new scaffolded item. So this is MVC view, razor view empty, and click on add. If I click on add, so it add new item first step. So now you can see this is highlighted on razor view empty, and by default it is index.cshtml. I will change it to hello because the view name is indicative of the action method, which was hello. So hello.cshtml and click on create. So this will create the hello this view for the hello. So again, now I have to create a view for this hello action method in the first controller. So I will right click hello, click on add view, and here I will go for this razor view and click on add and add razor view name hello. The template is empty without model, and let these options be using a layout page and not create as a partial view, and click on add. Do you want to replace it? Because I have earlier created the hello razor view with a different template, so I'd like to replace it. So I will click on yes. It is scaffolding that view from the NuGet package. It is installing some package. We'll come back when it is finished. Now then this hello.cshtml, this view file is created, and it has already created a folder first within the views folder, views first, and hello.cshtml. Now we'll make a small change over here, and instead of hello within the h2 tag, we'll make it hello world. Right, hello world and exclamation. Let's say give exclamation and then run this application now and browse to again within the first. There were build errors. No, let's see what was the problem. Unable to remove directory. For some reason, I have to always um, delete it. But let's go for cleaning the solution. And after cleaning the solution, I have just click on IAS Express icon to run this application, and let's see. Now I have browsed to first hello. Click on enter, and it comes up with hello world. That's our objective already served. So this is what we aim to achieve, and that is what we have achieved. So in the first controller, hello action method is returning hello world. Okay, this is the view now. So now you've successfully created your first view and invoked it from the browser. Next, you will see how to add dynamic data to the view. That was our next objective. So I've now closed the browser and killed the application. So passing data from controllers to views are done in a number of ways. I will explain all these ways to you later on. For here, I will make use of the ViewBag, which is a dynamic object to assign any type of value. Just change the hello action method in um, this hello action method to use the ViewBag. So it will still return iAction result, and there is a line which I'll put above the return statement. So viewBag.message. This is viewBag.message equals hello world. Okay. Now the action stores the string on the viewBag variable, which is a dynamically created variable. Now you have to display this stored string on the view. So change the hello.cshtml code to look like this is, instead of hard coded value, this will be the viewBag.message. At the rate to suggest that this is C# code at the rate viewBag.message. Okay, so that's what I have written on the first controller, viewBag.message. So here I have put it, and it doesn't come on the IntelliSense because this is a dynamic content. Okay, dynamic dictionary viewBag. Now this, it simply displays the value of the viewBag's message variable on the view. Now if you rerun the application again, so I have browsed to again localhost colon port number /first/hello, and it shows the hello word, but it is now coming from the ViewBag dynamic dictionary. Okay, now in this last section, I will add a model to the application. I will fill this model from the controller and then pass it to the view where it will be displayed. Models are nothing but C# classes. So I will add a simple class to the models folder. So right click, just contract one of those open nodes. So root, so make it a bit more clear. And on the models folder, I'll click on model, add class, and call this class person. So I'll add a person class. So public class person, namespace is first app.models, and in this person class, I will add a few properties, public properties like name, age, and location. Public string, sorry, I intended to make it name. Get set, and then just copy it over twice. And this will be an int. Integer age, and then string location. So name, age, and location of a person. All right. Now let's go to the first controller. Let's first save this application. Go to the first controller and let's create an action result type and call this info. Okay. So we'll get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Public action result type and call this info. Information about the person, say. Okay. let's make an instance of the person class. Person, that squiggly line will be gone in a second if I include the models folder here. So using first app.models, it will take care of this person class equals new person. So I think this is easy enough to understand. I am just setting all the properties of this person instance. So let's just save it. So in this action method, I have created a new object person for the model class and then assigned the values. Now the model is filled with the controller. Now I'll have to show its data on the view. So I have to create an info view inside the views first folder. So initially I'm going to create an empty view without a model and then supply the necessary code later on. So initially this view with the empty template without model looks like this. View data title equals info, and within it h1 tag which is shown as info. Okay, now I'll update it by writing at model. And what's the model? Person model, which we have used, and it will receive the model of type person. So I have added person over here. Now finally, to show the model data, so I will add the code to the view. So I've copied this code to the view, name at model.name, and then age here, model.age, and location, model.location, and then saved it, and then run this application again. Now magic. So I have now browsed to first/info, localhost :port/first/info. This port will differ in your machine. So info, name, age, and location. So I got this information from the model right onto my view for the information action method, which was this one. From the first controller info action method, I've got this. So now I have seen all of the learning outcome I have met. So the learning outcome were, again, we have covered these following skills: creating an application with MVC template, adding a controller, action method returning string, action method returning view, adding dynamic data to the view, add model and transferring its data to the view. And that's all. Thank you very much.